45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome in, everyone. And why didn't we play? Anyway, welcome in, everyone, to episode 313 of The Dream Wager. I am your host, D-Rock. Today, September 30th, 2023. Don't even know the year. I am your host, D-Rock. Welcome in, E. How you doing, kid?
Dill, we're doing all right, Dill. It's been a shitty month, not betting-wise, but just rain. If you're up in the East Coast like us, it's just been raining every damn day, Dill. So it kind of sucks. Four out of 6 days so far this week has been rained out. So just rain needs to go away. Other than that, we're doing great, Dill.
Yeah, doing good. I tweeted out the other day, I said it's been raining in Jersey for like the past 700 days. It just feels like it just rains every day now, and we don't even live in like a rainy area like Seattle. So yeah, hopefully the sunshine comes out, but looks like the forecast will have rain for the rest of the weekend. But got a good show for you guys. We'll recap Thursday night football. We got a bunch of college football plays, week 5 already in college. And then we got a bunch. Make sure you set your alarms early. I feel like I'll be saying that a lot. But we got across the pond football. The Falcons taking on the Jaguars in London, 9:30 here on the East Coast. So like 6:30 on the West Coast. So make sure you set your alarm. So let's get right into it. Lions. Big win at Lambeau Field. Oh, how the tables have turned ever since, even with Aaron Rodgers the last year or two. That's 4 or 5 straight in a row for the Lions. They wind up winning 34-20. They cover. The game goes over. I thought Jared Goff played a really good game. They started out really slow, but he got his rhythm back together. David Montgomery, 32 carries for 121 yards. They just force-fed the ball to him all night. Packers couldn't stop it. First, what'd you think of the game, and what'd you take away from the Lions' offense?
Dill, besides the first drive, the opening drive for the Lions, Dill, it was pretty much dominating. Jared Goff threw a terrible interception. The safety flew him. I think it was Queen that filled him, Dill. But other than that, Dill, give credit to their offense, Dill. They established the running game, threw the ball when they needed to. That rookie, to be honest, the whole offense, Amon-Ra Brown, Raymond, like all these dudes are making plays, Dill. Reynolds, he had himself a day, Dill. Yeah. So Laporta, the rookie,
Good call on him.
Yeah, the rookie's doing numbers. Wait till Jameis Williams comes back. I want to see how this offense looks moving forward. Jamar Gibbs, he's still in the mix still, but I know he got some explosive plays that's gonna end up coming later on throughout the season, Dill. David Montgomery had himself a day, Dill. 32, 121, 3 tubs. Wow. And then with the Packers, on the other hand, Dill, in the first half, it was just a horrendous turnout, especially in the first half, Dill. But you know what? We gotta look things positive, Dill. My boy, Jordan Love, did go 17 for 23, almost 200 yards and a touchdown just in the second half alone, Dill. I understand it was tail 2 halves, Dill. He did not look good in the first half. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not trying to say he played well. He didn't. He looked horrendous in the first half, Dill. But in the second half, you gotta admire when somebody could just wipe themselves up from the floor and come back like he did in the second half. That's 2 weeks in a row, people, where we saw Jordan Love get completely shut out in the first half, just 3 points on Thursday night, and then put up 17 points back-to-back in half. So to me, that's impressive, Dill. So you got to have a silver lining. Yes, the kid didn't look good for 2 first halves in a row, but he looked pretty damn great for those 2 second halves.
Yeah, so real quick on the Lions side, and Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't even he had that nice touchdown catch, but he kind of not held in check, but he definitely didn't have his best game. Josh Reynolds, he's really turning into that number 2 since Jameson Williams is not. And Sam Laporta, he's just turned it. Iowa. If a tight end comes out of Iowa, Elvis, let's make a note. He's going to be good. But yeah, I thought offensively they really got into rhythm from the start. Packers, they did have some turnovers. They shot themselves in the foot. He had those 2 interceptions. I guess you could spin it in a positive, and he did score 17 points in the second half, but he recorded the lowest QBR of any quarterback all season with a 7. I didn't say that wrong. It's a 7. The lowest before that was the Week 1 massacre against the Giants, where Daniel Jones had an 8.2 recorded QBR. So Jordan Love, 7 QBR. I don't think he played good. I think there was a bunch of garbage time in the second half where the Lions kind of sat back a little and let him kind of cook. So I won't say Jordan Love had a good game. Jury's still out on him. They can't run the ball. Even with Aaron Jones coming back, they weren't able to run the ball. But I think we got to give credit to this Detroit defense. I know Gardner Johnson, he's out right now, and the rookie they had, Branch, he was flying over the field. He tried to come back. Doesn't look like he'll be able to go next week, but they got about 7 days, so we'll see. But what do you think of this defense? Because coming into the season, that was, I guess, their Achilles heel. We always knew they were going to be able to score points. It was, can they stop anyone?
Still, that defense in front. The secondary, we had concerns about the secondary, especially with CJ Gardner Johnson being out, Dill. It's kind of vulnerable in the back end, Dill, but in the front, Dill, 5 sacks. Like you said, never got the running game going. They're only 12 attempts for 27 yards as a team, Dill. They couldn't run the ball, and that defensive front was just putting pressure all night long, Dill. So you gotta give credit there. It looks mean. Give credit to this Lions defense, Dill. They might be for real, especially that front. And Aiden Hutchinson, Dill.
Yeah,
he's having himself a year thus far. So I hope people are taking that to notice. He's making to be known. He was definitely worth this, second overall pick?
Yeah, second overall, staying home. He did have 2 tackles. He had the 1 sack, tackle for loss as well. So he's getting there. Like I said, Brian Branch, all over the field. 5 tackles. He had 7 total tackles.
And one of those interceptions was because of Aiden Hutchinson's pressure coming on the right side.
So love it. I thought it was an amazing performance. And I love the Jared Goff after the game taking a little shot at Fitzmagic. He goes, oh, you thought I was an average Matt Ryan? I'm actually better than Matt Ryan, and I'm better than average. So love the pettiness. Everyone's getting all these little sound bites. And I just think it comes – everyone hears everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays. So – would you rate this defense a top 10 defense right now? I mean, they're kind of playing like it.
I tell you what, Dill, that was a top 10 performance, what we witnessed on Thursday night, Dill. I wouldn't put in there just yet, just because I feel like the secondary is a little weak right now, especially with the injuries with the rookie. He looks like a stud. Branch, it looks like he might be out multiple weeks with an ankle injury. And then, CJ Gardner Johnson, Dill. If those 2 are healthy, Dill, I'll probably give them number 10. But without, you're down 2 starting corners. So I got to see how y'all look, in a week or 2 from now.
Yeah, I agree. But overall, big win for the Lions. That's 4 in a row now against the Packers. And, Lions have had a bad history for us growing up. And it's good that the tables have kind of turned now. But I went 2-2 on the day. Luke Musgrave, my props went out the window when he got a concussion. And I was like, fuck. But thankfully, we get there with the pass attempts for Jordan Love, and the Lions cover for me. So I split even, just 2-2. How did you do?
I went 1-0, Dill, Lions money line, and then I should have took a Porter over. I think it was only at 38.5, and he went for like 56. So I leaned him over. I didn't take it to the window, but if anybody listening, if you took my lean, congratulations.
Yeah, that's why I said good call, because I thought you winded up. I thought that was the one official play. I thought you actually leaned the line, so it was actually reversed. But yeah, he did wind up going over. I think it's 2 weeks in a row now he's gone over. So it's another guy to watch out. And you picked him up on your fantasy, right?
Yeah, come on now, number 2 ranked tight end.
People laughed at you though. Who's laughing now? You gotta love it. All right, before we get to college football plays, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer in the market, hands down. Is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry on Saturday watching Coach Prime, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Elvis, let's get to it. College football plays. Loved a little soundbite too. I got a bunch. Yesterday I went, let me see. I had some plays last night in college. I went 4-1. Louisville -3. They won by 3 push, but the Louisville and the NC State under 55.5 cash. I took Oregon State -3 and the under, both cash, and I took BYU +2. They won outright. So keep the points. So coming off a 4-1 day, looking to keep it going. I feel like I've had a much better college season than NFL right now. So as long as we're making money, Elvis, I'll let you lead it off. What's your first play for college?
Dill, let's start it off. 12 o'clock kickoff. Dill, Clemson taking on Syracuse at Syracuse. Dill, might be a rainy one, might be a little crazy out there. Dill, give me Syracuse +7 at home. Dill, don't get me wrong. Honestly, Clemson is a powerhouse still, but what have Clemson shown you that they could go on the road and just
Choke artist.
Lay the 7 against Syracuse. Syracuse is a good team. I understand they're not one of these power 10s, power 5s. I understand that, people. But I think they're still the Qs. They still got talent. And to be honest, Clemson hasn't shown me anything that they go up there and win this game by more than 7 points. Give me Syracuse +7 at home, Dill.
Yeah, my first play, I'm going to take Akron on the money line -130 at home against Buffalo. Buffalo 0-4. And Akron, they should be 2-1. I feel, or they should be 2-2, excuse me. They played a very good game against Indiana last week, and a couple overtimes they wound up losing, but they're playing good at home. I think this is a good spot for them, so I'll lay it on the money line -130. I agree. Second play, Syracuse +7 -115. We've all known Syracuse has, not Syracuse, excuse me, Clemson. They've had trouble going up to the Carrier Dome and playing Clemson. Even when Syracuse, even when they weren't 4-0 and are a good program, they always used to give Clemson some fits. And the one problem, Clemson offensively, they're okay, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot, those turnover battles, throwing a pick six, losing the fumble, not hitting a chip shot. They're literally shooting themselves in the foot. So I agree. I think they could win, but maybe by a field goal. I don't think they win by double digits. So I like Syracuse. They're undefeated. Going to the Carrier Dome is a hard place to play. Give me Syracuse +7. What's your next play?
Dill, the line keeps moving in this one. It's making me nervous, Dill. But we heading to Nebraska, Michigan. Take on Nebraska, Dill. It's at 18.5, Dill. I'll take it at +17.5, Dill. I just, don't get me wrong. I do think Michigan is the right side here, people. Don't get me wrong. But are they going to go out there and win this game by 18 points? That's just my thing, Dill. I think Nebraska's going to fight. I do believe they lose, but I think they could lose by either 14, maybe 17, Dill. Keep it a little close, make score late in the game to cover the spread, Dill. Give me Nebraska +17.5, and I see 18.5 right now, people. So take the +18.5.
Yeah, shop around. Very interesting because Nebraska, they probably played their worst game against Colorado. Michigan, Jim Harbaugh came back. I really don't.
Took care of business last week against our Rutgers, Dill. So.
But they really haven't been convincing and all. Yeah, tested, and really, like, they're winning, but they're not covering all these big spreads. Remember, I took UNLV +37.5 against Michigan. Like, some of these big numbers, I don't know. And I think Nebraska's a little better than anticipated. So I actually do like the play there. My next play, 12 o'clock, set your alarms. Colorado, give me the Buffs. I'm back on the Colorado train. I even see 22s out there. I got 21.5 at home coming back. They got it's an old style ass whooping. That's what they got last week. They said some things that I feel like they shouldn't have, on the field, and Oregon did their talking with the pads. And they whooped their ass up and down the field. And that's what maybe that's what they needed. Coming home, USC is a very good team. Caleb Williams will probably be the number 1 pick. But I think defensively they will struggle to stop Colorado score some points. I'm not saying Colorado's going to win outright, but I do think they'll keep it within 20, 21 points. So I'm going to take Colorado at home plus the 21 points. My boy Coach Prime had a little baby give him motivational speech this morning. If little baby's in the locker room, the stars are going to be out in Boulder. So give me Colorado plus 21.
All right, Dale. My last play of the night will be a night game, Dale. It's Alabama at Mississippi State, Dill. Dak Prescott's old school, by the way, Dill. I'm going to lay the 14.5 on the road with Bama. I kind of, I've been iffy about this team all season long, Dill. Now we made the quarterback switch. Now I kind of like what we're doing, Dill. So I think that was the major key, finally making the quarterback switch, Dill. Hopefully that proves Saban right. Give me Bama minus 14.5, Dill. I think the new QB takes their business on the road.
Yeah, I like it. They finally found out they have the quarterback. He's very good, and I think he just gives them a little extending the play with his feet. That's what the other guy didn't have.
He's more of a dual threat, you could say.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe not the most accurate passer, but you could develop that.
You don't need an accurate passer, especially with Alabama. You don't need one.
And last week when they beat Lane Kiffin on the at home against Ole Miss, that was the old Alabama that we've come to love. So yeah, I like the spot for them as well. I got a bunch that I'll just rattle off if that was your last one, right?
Yeah, that's my last. Let me give one lean. I'll do lean Florida today over Kentucky at Kentucky. That's just my official. I just think Florida's the better team. Go Gators. I just feel like they're just the better team. Shop around, but I see plus 102, minus 102 around, so plus 1.5. I do like Florida. I think they take care of business on the road.
Give me Kentucky on the money line, minus 120. That was honestly my next play. I think they're a little higher ranked than they should be because of the name of who they are in Florida and what they represent. I like Florida. Don't get me wrong. I think defensively, they're playing really good. I worry offensively if they could keep up with Kentucky, who have been scoring a bunch of points. They haven't really been battle tested all that much, but I feel like Kentucky, big win against Vanderbilt on the road. They beat Akron, Eastern Kentucky. They're just they're blowing teams out. I think offensively, I don't know if the Florida will be able to hang. I think it will be a closer game than people expect, which is why the line is where it is. But I just like Kentucky a little more right now. Whoever thought they would be a football school as well? So love that. I'm gonna take Kentucky. Give me Arkansas plus 6.5 against Texas A&M. Give me Georgia minus 14.5. First big road test for the Bulldogs on the road against Auburn. Auburn just got beat up in their last game against A&M. They're not ready to play. Georgia's the best team in the country for a reason. I'll lay the 14.5. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks plus 16.5 on the road in Austin. I mean, another team where we just think these are basketball teams, but no, they've been dumping money into this program. Kansas is a very good school. 4-0. They're ranked top 25 in the country. They beat BYU. They beat Nevada. They beat Illinois. Texas is a very good team. I'm not taking nothing away from Texas, but 16, maybe they win by 2 touchdowns. 14. I'll take the 16.5 with Kansas. Give me LSU Tigers on the road against Mississippi State. No, Ole Miss, excuse me. Mississippi State plays Bama. Give me LSU. I thought the line would have been a little wider for LSU. I thought it was going to be like 4.5, closer to a touchdown, but laying 2.5, I don't know if Ole Miss defense can keep up with Jalen Daniels and that receiving core for the Tigers. So going to take LSU on the road, laying the 2.5. And another basketball school where game day is, give me the Duke, the Cameron Crazies, baby, plus 6 against Notre Dame. I know this is a very contrarian play. Notre Dame is coming in hungry after that tough loss at home against the Ohio State. They're coming in mad. They're probably going to try to beat the brakes off of them. And maybe they'll learn to put 12 guys on the field this time. because they had 10 the last 2 plays of the game. But yeah, I'm gonna take Duke. I like Luke Riley, the quarterback for Riley Leonard, excuse me, for Duke. I think he's a very dual threat quarterback, and I think he can make some plays to keep him in the game. So I think this is a field goal game. Probably Notre Dame wins, but give me Duke +6. So those are all our plays. Elvis, good luck on the good luck on the gridiron, but college gridiron. How you been doing real quick in college?
In college, Joe, you know what? Let me give me,
because I know you don't have the volume that I have, but you still been giving out some plays.
Yeah, Dale. Let's see. Last month, we're 6-6-1. Okay. I don't give them out, people, but we lay it on the line. I'm not a college football guy. Dylan kind of, persuade me to start, tagging along, and I am. We're not losing, people, as you can see. We're just not winning, So I ain't a loser. So 6-6-1. I'll take it. Hey. Hopefully we go 2-1 today. We'll be what? 8-7-1 positive. So,
I like your plays too. So hopefully Bama and you rooted for Michigan, correct? Or no, you're taking Nebraska. I like that.
I took Nebraska plus 18.5. They lose by 17. They lose by 17.
Yeah. I like it. Elvis, good luck. Let's try to get you into the positive. Let's go on over to week 4 in the NFL.
Gotta love it.
Your alarm, because we got a primetime game, 9:30 here on the East Coast in Wembley Stadium, beautiful Wembley Stadium. The home team, I have to call them the home team, the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, their second home in London, taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Jacksonville laying 3 in London, +3 for the Atlanta Falcons. You want to take them on the money line. Jacksonville -162. The comeback is +136 for the Falcons. Over/under is at 43. I'll start with you, E. How do you like this game playing out?
Still, give me the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. On the road, but at home in London, 9:30 start, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars going to come out and showcase what they're capable of doing, We've seen back-to-back weeks, poor performance, offensively, defensively, their defense been holding them in games, but offensively, they haven't showed up. We see the game against Kansas City, their offense simply didn't show up. I'm not calling Kansas City's defense war beaters now, but they should at least score. They should have been more in the game than what they were, And then last week, another bad performance offensively, I just feel like Jacksonville is going to hit a stride this week, finally take off, So with that being said, give me Jacksonville on the money line, And I'll be honest, let's lay the 3, people. Let's lay the 3. I just feel like Jacksonville's offense finally going to, pop off, you could say. And then I think Atlanta offensively, Desmond Ridder last week didn't look really good. Bijan Robinson, electric. But my concern to me is they have one of the best young wide receivers in Drake London, and he's yet to be impactful, I don't know what's going on, but I think they got to give him the ball a little more and make some plays, I think he's a terrific player. They're just not giving him the ball enough. Maybe hopefully we see something like we saw Jamar Chase on Monday get force-fed. I would like to see Drake London get force-fed because I do think if he gets the ball X amount of times, I think they could sneak out a victory here. Him, B.J. Robinson. Hey, even give Kyle Pitts, your boy Kyle Pitts, you had him very high. He's not putting up any numbers, That's concerning to me, You got all the talent. You got Drake. You got Bijan. You got Kyle Pitts at 3 different levels on the offense. And yet they yet to be impactful, So that's why I'm going to go Jacksonville at home, -3, and on the money line.
Real quick, what are your thoughts on the rumors that Kyle Pitts was on the trade block, but then they came out and said they shut that shit down quick. They said, no, we are not trading Kyle Pitts. I agree to the fact that they're not using him to the best of his ability. He in the red zone, he probably one-on-one is not guardable. And especially with Arthur Smith, a guy who loves his tight ends, it's very not concerning. Maybe concerning is the right word. It's concerning that they don't use him as much as he did. I personally think it's the quarterback. I don't think Desmond Ridder's the guy. He could win you some games, but he's not going to elevate the team to where they need to be, especially with all the talent that you mentioned. Don't forget Taylor Aguilar. They got a 2 running back. They got Cordell Patterson as well in the slot. They have pieces.
They have playmakers. And let's forget, they did trade away Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. And that is very true. So, for me, how I'm going to play this game, I'm going to take a player prop. Bijan Robinson over 24.5 receiving yards at -114. It's up to 26.5, but I still like it. He's gone over this number in all 3 games receiving. He's got 27 against Carolina week 1. He had 48 week 2 against Green Bay. On the road in week 3 against Detroit, he had 27. So he's gone over this number in all 3 games. I think Desmond Ridder gets him out. We get a little screen balls, a few here and there. So 24.5, 26, I think he could break it to a couple. And I was going to ask you, because I knew you were on Jacksonville, does it worry you? All-time record in London games, 4-5 straight up.
No, Dill, just because the opponent and what we saw in the last 2 weeks, Dill, I think they're due. If Jacksonville was 3-0, I wouldn't be as confident laying the 3. But the fact they're going in back-to-back losses, Dill, I think is hungry. And against the Atlanta team who we're iffy about. I'm not going to say they're a bad team, but me and you, we both have our questions about them. And I guarantee so does Jacksonville.
Yeah, a hungrier team is Jacksonville right now, so I do agree there. Let's go to the next game. Back in the States, we'll go up to Orchard Park, Western New York. Buffalo Bills hosting the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo laying 3 at home, -152 on the money line, +3 for the Dolphins, +128 on the money line. Over-under is at 53.5. Bills will be without Jordan Poyer, one of their safeties, which is not a good recipe for this team. I mean, Elvis, I'll start this one. It's a square play. I got to take the 3, though, with the Miami Dolphins. I just think offensively, they're going to be a really hard team to guard, especially with now Jordan Poyer gone. Xavier Howard that's on Miami. But I just think the secondary for Buffalo Bills going to have a tough time guarding the wide receivers. Now you got Jalen Waddle back, and that's another person that I'm going to target. I have a player prop for Jalen Waddle. His number is, I got it at 59.5. It's at 60 right now, but first game of the year, he had 78 yards against the Chargers. Week 2 against the Patriots, he had 86. He sat last week, so he's healthy now. I think over 58.5 or 59.5 receiving yards is a good play. I think they're going to give him the ball, and all the attention is going to be on Tyreek Hill, which it should be. And I also have another one. I'm going to do Josh Allen over 35.5 rushing yards. It goes back to what we said. He plays a little too much hero ball, and especially against the Miami Dolphins who get a lot of pressure, I think he's going to be able to break it. So first game of the season against the Jets, he had 36, went over it. Against the Raiders, he didn't really need to. He only had 7 rushing yards. Last week against Washington, we saw him run more. He had 46 rushing yards. And just to dating back to last season, he's gone over this number in 2 of the 3 games. He had 47 rushing yards, 77 rushing yards, and then 20 in the January loss. So I think Josh Allen is going to need to extend the play a little bit tomorrow. So Josh Allen over 35.5 rushing yards, Dolphins +3, and Jalen Waddle over 59.5 receiving yards. E, what do you got?
Dill, give me Miami Dolphins +3. Dill, I understand. Buffalo has 2 dominated wings back-to-back weeks. They dominated the Raiders, and last week they dominated Washington. They honestly defensively picked Washington apart, though. But this Miami team, this tour, we saw them put up 70 points last week. I never thought I'd see that. 70 points they just put up against I had respect for them till last week. The Denver Broncos defense, still. I just don't see, especially with Poyer being down. Instead, they got Tre'Davious White in there, one of the best corners in football. But I just feel like with Waddle being back, Tyreek, and the running game deal, we saw how successful they were last week. It's just going to be a tough task for Buffalo to slow them down. I just feel like Miami right now has the hottest offense in all of football, deal. So with that being said, give me Miami +3 on the road, deal. And I'm going to be honest, from what we saw last week, I got to lean over Mostert, 50.5 rushing, and then Akeen over 38.5 rushing, Dill. It wouldn't shock me if somehow this team goes over 150 rushing and Mostert and Akeen are somewhere, 80 apiece, somewhere around that area, Dill. Just from what we witnessed last week, Dill. So I'm going to lean both running backs over rushing at 50.5 and 38.5, and I'm going to take Miami +3 with the points in my back pocket.
I love it. It's such a square play, though. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're probably the best team in the AFC. How are they catching points?" But I will say, Miami does have problems going up to Orchard Park and playing. Buffalo is a very good home team, and they've given Miami, even when they've turned it around and have been a good team, they still give Miami some fits up in Orchard Park. So I understand the line. I don't think the line is wrong. I'm just trusting my eyes here, in this game. I just feel like offensively and even defensively, I just think they're more of a complete team. I've still seen some things I don't like for the Buffalo Bills, but we'll see. We'll see if the public was right in this one. Let's go to Houston. Texans hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers road favorites -3, -142 on the money line, +3 for the Texans, +120 for the home underdog. Over under is at 41.5. What do you got for this one?
Dale, I'm going to stay away from this game, Dale. It's a tough matchup. I do expect the Steelers will be on the right side of victory in this matchup, Dale, but I ended up staying away. Remember, Dale, you always advise me sometimes the best bet is no bet, people. So just always go with your gut. If anything, Dale, I said it last week. It would have hit. I didn't take it, but it would have hit. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna lean CJ Stroud over passing yards. I'm pretty sure it's at 238.5. Dale, this kid is averaging about 300.
It's at 242 now, but yeah,
it went up. Look at that. This kid's averaging about 300 yards passing a game. I'm pretty sure he won't be able to get to 300 against the Steelers defense still, but I think he could get to around 245, maybe 260 still. So I'm going to lean his overpassing once again, possibly get 80 of those yards during garbage time. Who knows? But if he goes over it in those 60 minutes, that's all that matters. I'm going to lean it over. I might take it tomorrow. CJ Stroud over passing.
He's averaging 302 passing yards per game. He's gone over this number in basically all three. The first game he ended against Baltimore with 242, and it would have went under by the half. But against Indianapolis, he threw for 384. Last week against Jacksonville, when they won outright, he threw for 280. Remember, we had our doubts. I think CJ Stroud has been the best quarterback of the rookie class so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Still. I'm not gonna proclaim him the best, but I agree.
Right now he is. Yeah, right now he is.
He's playing the best.
Surprisingly, I was gonna try to get cute and take the Texans +3, but I said no. I don't want to be too cute. And speaking of CJ Stroud, I'm gonna take his rushing prop. Over 7.5 rushing yards at -130. It's a sneaky play, but CJ's gone over this number in 2 of his first 3 games. First game, he had 20 rushing yards. Second game against Indianapolis, he almost threw for 400. Didn't really need to throw for any. And then last week, he rushed for 14 yards as well. And the Steelers, they have a good defense, but they've allowed quarterbacks to go over this number in 12 of 17 games last season, 2 or 3 games this season. Jimmy G had 8 yards last week, and then he got a concussion. So if Jimmy G's out there scrambling, we could all agree CJ Stroud is more athletic than he is. So Steelers, they get pressure on the quarterback. There's no denying that. But Texas, they have a banged-up O-line. Laramie Tunsil's out as well. So I do expect CJ Stroud to be on the run quite a bit, and the Steelers love to play man defense. So when you're playing man, the whole field will be wide open. So he just needs 1 or 2 runs to get over 7.5 rushing yards for CJ Stroud. That is my play for this game. Let's go to Indianapolis. Colts hosting the Rams. Kind of a pick 'em right now. Colts laying 1 on the money line, -106, +1 for the Rams, but they're -110. So on the spread, the Colts are favored, but on the money line, the Rams are favored. Over/under is at 45.5. Tough game to decide. The books can't decide. Elvis, can you?
So this is a tough one. I think it's going to be a good game. We got the overachieving Colts team right now, sitting at 2-1. They got some wins that took care of business of Baltimore last week. They're on the road. Now they're going back at home. I might regret this one, Dill, but I think the right side in this scenario is the Indianapolis Colts at home. I do think they'll advance to 3-1, Dill. But with that being said, let's just play it safe, people. You see them there at -1. Let's tease them up to +5, people. I think if they do lose this game, they lose by a field goal. I think the best scenario for this one, tease up the Colts to +5.
Whew, very interesting. No official play. I stayed away from this game. This is a coin flip for a reason. I do lean the Rams on the money line as a short dog, but I just feel like the Colts are going to start to regress. Gardner Minshew wasn't good. I think AR-15 will play this week.
He is.
I don't know. He's a wild card. I like him. The ceiling is high, but he still does some things that you wish he doesn't do. Defense is playing very good. I will admit that. They're playing better than I thought they would. Rams, I actually like that they lost. Coming back, I think this will be a nice bounce back spot for them. I don't know if they'll be able to stop Puka Nacua. Tutu Atwell's been really good for them, and Matthew Stafford's just been slinging the ball. So, yeah, their defense has been good, but gun to my head, I guess I would lean the Rams on the road. But no official play. It was just a total stay away game for me. Let's go to the next game. One of these teams will get their first win. Carolina Panthers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota -4.5 on the road, -205 on the money line. +4.5 for the Panthers, +172 as the home dog. Over under is at 46.5. Elvis, I'll start with you. Who gets their first win?
Minnesota Vikings gets their first win, Dill. Let's go.
Bryce Young is back. Does that worry you?
Not at all, Dill. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing Bryce Young. I just feel like Minnesota, they shouldn't. They're put like this. This might be the best 0-3 team ever, like ever. 100%. Like, they just have some tough losses. If Justin Jefferson doesn't extend the ball, guess what? They beat Philly. Last week against the Chargers, it was a couple questionable calls, but they were just right there from winning the game. So Minnesota might be the greatest 0-3 team of all time. With that being said, I'm going to lean the -4.5. I'm not going to lay it just because they're on the road. If they were at home, I would have laid the 6.5, to be honest. But on the road, I'm going to give Carolina some respect. Still, and with that being said, my official play for this matchup will be Justin Jefferson over 101.5. This number, still, I think you will agree with me. Even at 101, this number is too low. I just feel like Justin Jefferson might go for $120, $140. He's on pace for over 2,000 yards, people.
Yeah, so I agree. I think they should win. A lot of people, I was reading a lot of things on X, and they were saying that Bryce Young got benched. And I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I think his ankle was really messed up. They said they didn't want to put him in the tough environment of his last game. So I kind of disagree with that. I don't think he's played all that well, but I have seen some things that I do like from Bryce Young. But give him time. He doesn't have the core that you're used to seeing him with in Alabama.
Adam Thielen is his best offensive weapon.
That's saying something.
Yeah, no slight to Adam Thielen, but he's 34 years old, and the fact that he's the number one, it's not the best option.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. We're not throwing slate at Adam Thielen. He's been a vet in the league, but
you're great, Adam. It's nothing against you, but the fact that you're the number one. Yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Oh, I got 3 props here. I do agree. I do think the Vikings are the right side. I think they could cover this game. But I had more confidence in these 3 player props. I'm going to go Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Juicy. It's at -150. But he's gone over this in all 3 games. Dating back to last season against the Giants in that playoff game, he's gone over this in 4 straight. 2 against Tampa Bay, 4 against Philly, 3 against the Chargers. Over 1.5 seems very disrespectful in my opinion. So gonna go over that. My next one is going to be what is it? Going to be receptions for Adam Thielen, -114, over 4.5 receptions for Adam Thielen. He's caught 11 balls and 7 balls in his last 2 games. Bryce Young is back, and I just feel like you said, that's his best target. So he needs to feed him. First game against Atlanta, he had 2. but against New Orleans, he had 7. Last week with the Red Rifle, he fed him in Seattle, and he had 11 catches. So that's going to be my second play. Adam Thielen over 4.5 receptions. And then receiving yards, I know Justin Jefferson's, by the way, it's up to minus 103 or 103. So
Still like it.
Yes. I'm going to go Jordan Addison. I got it at 39.5, but it's at 41. It's gone up. It's going in the right way. If you want to pay I got it at minus 135. I paid a little bit of juice for the good number, but it's at 41.5, minus 110. Regardless, he's gone over this number in all 3 games. First game against Tampa, 61. Against Philly, a good defense, he had 72. Last week against the Chargers, he had 52. So I think he has a good connection with Kirk Cousins, and that's what they do. They can't run the ball right now, so I think they're just going to be airing the ball out against the Panthers. J.C. Horn is on the IR, so one of their best corners is down. So I think they're going to have a field day against his secondary. So Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Jordan Addison over 39.5 receiving yards, and Adam Thielen over 4.5 receptions. Let's go to New Orleans. The Saints are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Saints laying 3.5 at home, minus 180 on the money line. Plus 3.5 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, plus 152 for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Over under is at 39.5. Kind of chalky on the money line for the Saints. You think the Bucks could bounce back after that loss?
Yeah, I think it's a tough scenario for the Bucks in this game. Still in the Metrodome in New Orleans. Still, Derek Carr should be back. I'm not quite sure if Jameis will be the starting quarterback. But still,
Jameis is playing. He hasn't been cleared. Does that worry you? We like Jameis. We like Jameis.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna stay away from the game.
Yeah.
I like. Don't get me wrong. I do think the Saints are the right side, but at the end of the day, they should win. But would it shock me if Jameis throws a late game interception and the Bucks kick a game-winning field goal? Absolutely not, Bill. So if Derek Carr was in there, I would have laid the 3.5, 3, 4, 5. I think they're just just a much better team. But with Jameis starting, Dill, it's kind of an even matchup, Dill.
Yeah, for me, this was another stay away game. I actually leaned the Bucks. If anything, I take the 3.5, especially if you could get the hook. I like Jameis. Don't get me wrong. I think he's so much fun. And as much as I like him and like rooting for him, I just think this Bucks defense will turn it around. It was a bad performance against the Eagles. Turnaround. I like backing teams off of a loss. I think they come out a little more hungry. Saints barely squeaked by last game. So, yeah, if anything, I do lean the Bucks, but nothing official here. It was a tough game to come down on a side for, or player prop wise for me. Let's go to Philadelphia. Speaking of the Eagles hosting the Washington Redskins. Eagles laying 8.5 on the road, minus 430 on the money line, plus 8.5 for the Redskins, plus 340 on the money line. Over under is at 43.5. I know you didn't like the showing against for the Redskins last game again. Who did they play last? Oh, the Bills. Yeah. Think they have any chance to turn it around? I think that's just one game.
Yeah, I'll give them no shot to win the game. I'll give them a shot to lose by a touchdown. I do give them the shot because I do expect them to come out better offensively, defensively. I expect them to come out with some hunger, Dill. But let's just be real. At Philadelphia, Sam Howell, if he threw 4 interceptions, think about it. He leads the league in interceptions. So if he threw 4 interceptions against the Bills defense, I think the Phillies defense is just a little better. And I think he's going to throw – he got to throw at least 1. He threw 4 last week. He's going to go for 1 this week against this defense on the road, Dill. He threw 4 at home. With that being said, Dill, I ended up teasing Philadelphia down to 2.5. Just because, like I said, it would have shocked me if the Commanders could keep it close. The Redskins could keep it close and lose by a touchdown. I won't be shocked by it. Last week might have just been an outlier. I expect Eric Bieniemy to get back in the books and call some great plays, and hopefully Sam Howell executes them, Dill.
Yeah.
But give me Philly, tease them down, two-way 6-point teaser to -2.5. I'll tell you the other team in just a bit.
Yeah, that's good. It's you get that under the key number of 3, so they win by a field goal. I do like the tease down. I think it's a great tease spot. Yeah, I didn't touch the game from a side perspective. I really wanted to take the 8.5. They were tempting me to take the points, to be honest. But I never got there. I was looking at props. I low-key like DeAndre Swift over 65.5 rushing yards. He went for 175 in week 2, and then he went for 130 against Tampa Bay. So I know the Redskins have a good front seven, and they could really stop the run. But like with this offensive line and the way Swift has been running the ball, I mean, maybe I'll get there tomorrow, but 65.5 seemed extremely low for me. So guys dating.
You know what it is? I'm pretty sure Gainwell will be active. I just don't show what role he'll play. I still think Swift. Honestly, nothing should change. Swift should still be the RB1, but I think that's why the number is a little low, just because Gainwell is back.
Yeah.
That's all.
If anything, I do lean Swift. His rushing yards. Other than that, just going to enjoy the game. Hopefully, the Redskins can keep it close. Let's go out to Chicago. Oh my God, disgusting game. The Denver Broncos.
No comment.
Are laying 3.5, -154 on the money line. Bears +3.5, +130 on the money line. Over under is at 46.5. Like I said, this is just disgusting. I want no parts of either team. But if I feel like you got to take the Broncos, right?
So I'll tell you one thing. If Sean Payton loses
to the worst team, he's on the hot seat. I don't care.
It's a fireball offense.
Yeah.
Let's just be real, people. If the Denver Broncos lose tomorrow and they start off 0-4, possibly having the worst record in all of football, Russell Wilson or Sean Payton has to go. I might be overreacting. I understand people like, oh, this dude Elvis is bugging. I might be right, but I'm telling you right now, Denver Broncos can't start 0-4. They just can't. So with that being said, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, defense, you guys, better show up and you better win.
Yeah,
you better win. If you lose to Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, there's one thing you lose to Minnesota, who's 0-3. You know, they look good at times. You lose to they
lost to Vegas.
You lose to the Raiders. You lose to Arizona. Well, that's respectable losses. You lose to the Chicago Bears, that's frowned upon.
I agree. I don't think it's an overreaction because he came in there, and for all the shit that Sean Payton talked preseason about Nathaniel
That's what
Hackett,
it was. That's what it is.
Like, you're 0-3. At least Nathaniel Hackett was 2-1. Yeah, he might have not called the best plays, but neither of you. At least he didn't allow 70 points up. And I know Russell Wilson isn't on the defense and he can't stop it, but they got to put up points as well. They haven't been able to put up points either. So, yeah, I agree. This is a do or die for the Broncos for their season. Bears, they're already looking at the number 1 pick. No disrespect. I feel like I would too if I was the Chicago Bears.
And let's be honest, even if the Panthers end up with the worst record, they're not going to draft Caleb.
No.
They just drafted Bryce.
Exactly. So, exactly. So, and the Bears have their draft pick. They have the Panthers draft pick. So the Bears might have 1 and 2. Because they traded him for the number 1 pick this season or last season. So the Bears have the 1 and 2 right now.
Well, Denver has.
Okay, yes. We'll see after this week. Oh, should be very fun. Let's go to Cleveland. The Browns are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Very good game. I think the best game of the 1:00 slate. Right now, the Browns are -1.5 at home, -130 on the money line, +1.5 for the Ravens, +110 on the money line. Over under is at 39. Elvis, I got it earlier in the week. I got the Ravens +3. Right now, I wouldn't take them +1.5. Just take them on the money line. I would also lean under for the game as well. Should be a very close, physical game, low scoring. You know, these teams know each other really well. AFC North battle, it's always a low-scoring game. These teams love to fuck each other up, and I think that's why I love the AFC North so much. But I'm going to take the Ravens. They're getting healthier. Running back, Stanley, their left tackle. Last week, they got exposed on the left side. I think Lamar's playing better than Deshaun Watson. I think the defense, we saw what Roquan Smith came out and said. He goes, listen, we're coming there, and we're trying to beat you in front of your family and friends, and we're going to try to take your house. And I love that. I think defensively should be a low-scoring game. You got 2 top 5 defenses in the league. I like the Ravens, though. I think they bounce back. Tough loss against the Colts. I think the Ravens are the right side here. I'm going to take them on the money line. And also, sprinkling a little back on Watson to throw an interception. Don't let the last game fool you. That defense can make a lot of people look like Peyton Manning. So, Ravens, they have a top defense, and I think they're going to be able to force Watson to throw an interception in a low, close-scoring game. Plus 140. Give me Deshaun Watson to throw an interception, and I'll take the Ravens on the money line.
Did you just say the Titans' defense is a bad defense?
Yeah, they're ranked 15th in the league right now. They're not a good defense. All they could do is stop the run.
I wouldn't call them bad, but they're middle of the pack. They're middle of the pack.
They're not good, but they're not.
I'll say they're decent. They're above average. So at 15, they're above average. 16 is average. With that being said, I'm with you, Dill. I think this is the marquee matchup of the weekend. 1:00 start at Cleveland, Dill. My favorite game of the 1:00 window, Dill. What I've seen from Lamar Jackson and his Baltimore offense, with the running back injuries and everything, Dill, doesn't suit well for me. Lamar looked iffy at times, haven't really had control of the football, been a little loose, especially when he's scrambling, Dill. And he's going up against the number 1 rated defense, pass, run, and points per game. I understand there's only a 3-week through 3 weeks still, but you still got to respect it. At home, Myles Garrett's playing like the defensive player of the year. Denzel Ward looking like a stud. That defense overall, Dill, is playing great. I'm going to just say that. They're playing really, really good. Deshaun, I understand, Dill, he only had 6 incompletions last week, Dill, but that was vintage Deshaun Jackson. I highly doubt, I'm not saying he's going to only have 6 incompletions this week, but I expect to have more of a game like he had last week than the game he had against Pittsburgh, Dill. With that being said, give me the Cleveland Browns at home, minus 122 on the money line, people.
Watson, you always say Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, always say Deshaun. Deshaun Jackson.
You
is
love
a legend.
Deshaun. He is a
legend.
legend, but you gotta do.
It's just Deshaun. It's just Deshaun.
I know. Speaking of Tennessee, let's go out to Tennessee. Titans hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals laying 2.5 on the road, minus 146 on the money line. Plus 2.5 for the Tennessee Titans, plus 124 on the money line. Over under is at 41. No play here for me, but I do have a player prop. I'm going to take Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions at minus 102. Burrow,
I like it.
He's living in these short passes in the slot, nothing deep. Titans, like I said, they're good stopping the run, but they have a hard time covering guys, especially the slot position. Burrow, he's throwing it 36 to 40 times a game. So the volume is there. He had 5 catches last week. He had 6 catches in week 2. I just think the number is very low. Minus 102 for over 3.5 receptions. I think Tyler Boyd has 4 catches. So that's the best. I think that's the best way to play the game, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions. As a side, I do lean Bengals minus the 2.5. I think it's a close game. Maybe they went by 3, but yeah, lean Bengals minus the 2.5. But I love Tyler Boyd over 3.5 catches.
Dill, we just seen Cleveland beat this same Tennessee team by 24 points. Pure domination, Dill. I don't expect that from Cincinnati, Dill, but I expect them to cover the 2.5 on the road. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals minus 2.5 on the road. Like you just said, Dill, they're good against the run defense, but they cannot stop the pass, Dill. What we see, like you said, Joe Burrow, so passing the ball 35 to 40 times a game, Dill. What we saw Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd do last week was something special, Dill. I do think T. Higgins will turn it around. Might be this week, might be the following week, Dill. But he's been having a lot of drops still, so that's a little concerning to me. But I do think Joe Burrow will be a little healthier than what we saw Monday night come tomorrow, Dill, and I expect him to have a good game. If the Browns was able to win by 24, I'll give the Cincinnati Bengals a chance to win this game by 10. Give me the Bengals on the road -2.5.
Yeah, we might look back and say, wow, this was a short number with the Bengals. Why didn't we all just lay it? Yeah, so I think it is a good buy low spot for the Bengals, who trying to turn this thing around. Big win on Monday night. Finally, we get to the 4 o'clock window. Why do they keep messing up this slate? 9 games in the morning. Why?
I have no idea. The fact that it's a 9:30 game and they still want to put 8 games at the 1 o'clock window is just, I don't understand it. Maybe they just want a lot of people viewing this, like the Dallas game, or I don't know. That's
the best game on the 4 o'clock slate.
That's the only thing that can make sense of it. That they just want a larger audience to watch that game, because that's the thing that makes sense. Last week, 3 games. Guess who's on that 4? Dallas. This week, 3 games. Guess who's on that 4?
Dallas. Yep.
That's the only thing that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, you might be onto something. Before we get to the Dallas game, because I do think that's the best game of the 4 o'clock window, let's go out to SoFi. The Chargers hosting the Raiders. -5 at home for the Chargers. -225 on the money line. +5 for the Raiders. +188 on the money line. Over under is at 49.5. Real quick, Chandler Jones arrested, violated
Free Chandler Jones.
He violated his restraining order against his ex-girlfriend and took things from her backyard and then recorded on live burning them. So I hope he
Good
finds
for him.
I just hope he's okay, to be honest. I know CTE is a real thing, and going on live making accusations about Aaron Hernandez and whatnot, but because the guy was a defensive player of the year just a few years ago. So like
Super Bowl champ.
Like he's better for the league. Like he just needs to come back, I feel like. But I don't want no parts with the Chargers as a favorite. Jimmy G, he still hasn't been cleared of concussion protocols.
Brian Hoyer most likely will be the starting quarterback tomorrow. Brian Hoyer, people. Patriot great,
Brian Hoyer.
3-time Super Bowl champ, maybe 4-time Super Bowl champ.
I actually, shout out Brian Hoyer. I just listened to a podcast that he was on. Seems like a really fucking great dude. He's been in the league for years. He knows his role, and he takes pride in being a good backup and preparing the defense for what they're about to see this upcoming week. There's a lot that goes back into it, and I think Brian Hoyer, Super Bowl, that's what we got to, and I like the interviewer, won't name the name, but he introduced him as a Super Bowl champion. Brian Hoyer goes, I like that. No one's ever introduced me as that, but people forget I was on the team. Yeah. You did not. Who do you like here?
Dill. I'm with you. Dill, I'm with you. I'm with you, Dill. I didn't end up staying away, Dill, but don't get me wrong. The Chargers is the play in this much just because Brian Hoyer is the starting quarterback, Dill. But what made me tease the Chargers down to a +1 is the coaching staff, Dill. Stanley is just he's a curveball. You know, it's just could he get away from himself? Could he just stay away enough and just let the Chargers cook? You know, I understand Mike Williams is not going to be there. A little concerning to me. Keenan had a huge day last week. I expect him to regress a little bit. I expect the offense in general to regress a little bit. But Dill, what do you expect from Brian Hoyer and the offense from the Raiders? Let's just be real, Dill. I don't expect much, especially off a short week of practice. Don't get me wrong. They still got Devontae. They still got Josh Jacobs. Still,
even Jacoby Myers has been really good.
They got the playmakers. Will Brian Hoyer make the plays? That's the question, Dill. So I ended up playing it safe. Give me the Chargers +1. Chargers lose this game. Is it a fireable offense?
I was just gonna ask you, out of the coaches that I think are on the hot seat, and Brandley Stanley should definitely be, and if they lose this game at home,
the fact that he still got a job after losing a playoff game up 27-0 is crazy.
So you got him. Who else you have? You have
Sean Payton.
I will say I don't want to say Minnesota, but
no, you got to. Minnesota can't start 0-4. That's a fireable offense. No team should be starting 0-4. I understand it happens still, but let's come on, Dill. We had not us, but a lot of people have Minnesota as division winners, making a playoff push. You know, I had Minnesota going over, making the playoffs, and look, Dill, it's a small chance. I highly doubt they lose to Carolina but you can't start 0-4 if you're Kevin McConnell. What's his name?
Yeah, Kevin McConnell. And how about Matt Eberflus, the Bears coach? He's 3-17. He has a 150 winning record.
We're not even talking about the Bears.
But he has to. Which I'm asking, who do you think is the first coach to get fired this season? Because it was Nathaniel Hackett last season.
First coach to be fired.
I think it is Eberflus. I think if the Bears start 0-6, 0-7, it's going to start spiraling.
It's going to be the Bears head coach, and then it's going to be Stanley.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think the Vikings will try to figure it out. And he is a really smart offensive mind.
And he won the division last year. You know, can't just fire him over a bad start, but bro only won. He's 3 for 17. That's a fireable offense.
Right, just on that. No, I agree. Let's go to your Patriots. On the road in Jerry World against the Cowboys. Cowboys laying 6.5 at home. Money line minus 290, plus 6.5 for the New England Patriots, plus 235 on the money line. Over under 43.5. I think this is a good teaser spot no matter what side you want to tease. You want to tease the Patriots up to 14.5. You want to tease Dallas to a pick 'em just to win. I think it's a good teaser spot either way. Should be a really good game. Are you taking your boys?
Dill, this is a good matchup. I think it's going to be a marquee matchup at the 4 o'clock window, Dill. As a Patriots fan, coming off a tough win at MetLife, Dill, wasn't an impressive win at all. But the fact that we was able to get the ball rolling offensively against that Jets defense, say something, Dill. The Cowboys defense might be a little better, but it's definitely in that pack, Dill. With that being said, I gave us a shot to pull up the upset just because, Dill, what we've seen throughout the first 3 weeks, the Cowboys is one of the worst red zone offenses in all of football. They kick a lot of field goals, Dill. You know, against the Patriots, Dill, we lock down coming in the red zone, and I just feel if we could hold this Cowboys team to just one touchdown in the red zone, don't give up no big plays, I feel like we could possibly cover and sneak out with a victory, Dill. Dill, give me the Patriots. I ended up taking the +7. I still take the +6.5. And then give me Ezekiel Elliott over 27.5 rushing yards in his homecoming game, Dill. Hopefully they pay a little tribute to Zeke Elliott. If they don't, I think that's going to light a bigger fire under him. Give me Zeke over 27.5. This number is too short. This man went for 80 yards last week and 15 touches. I think he gets anywhere from 12 touches for about 40, 50 yards.
Yeah, a little revenge game for Zeke. No, Jerry came out and said they will honor him. Eventually, he will be up in the Ring of Honor. He has to be. Zeke's a legend, I think. Ohio State grad. He's done a lot for the Cowboys in his season. They definitely have the playbook. They brought in Will Grier, backup for the Cowboy. The Patriots brought in Will Grier for a little information. So I love it. I love people who do that. You know, get a little extra information. You got to. I got a running back prop as well. I'm going to take Rico Dweddle, the Dallas running back. He's like the second or third string behind Vaughn and Tony Pollard, but 13.5 rushing yards. It's low. He's got 24 his first game, 26 the second game, 21 the third game. He's gone over this in all 3 games of the season. 13.5 minus 115. I don't want to say the L word, but it's one of my favorite plays. I think they've shown you, Mike McCarthy has shown you that they're going to put in and run multiple running backs. Tony Pollard is obviously their number 1 running back, but give my boy Rico the ball a few times. He's going to burst some. Over 13.5 rushing yards for Rico Dweddle at minus 115. Let's go to the last game before Sunday Night Football. Arizona Cardinals on the road taking on the 49ers. 49ers laying 2 touchdowns, minus 14, minus 900 on the money line. Plus 14 for the Cardinals, plus 610 on the money line. Over under is at 43.5. I feel like you got to take the points, right? If anything.
Yo, I'll lean the plus 14, to be honest, though. After what we saw last week, Arizona shocking the Cowboys. I'm going to say it's shocking because I didn't have them winning. And to be honest, I didn't think they were going to cover, and they shocked the world. So, to be honest, though, we gotta lean the plus points, though. And my official play in this game, though, we saw Tony Pollard and the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Pollard, I think, had 122 by himself rushing. CMC Christian McCaffrey over-unders at 78.5, people. This is too low. Tony Pollard went for 120 plus. I think CMC will do about the same. To me, in my opinion, CMC is a little better than Tony Pollard. And at that offensive line, remember, last week, Cowboys sat Zach Martin and Tyler Smith, two starting offensive tackles for them. They were benched / didn't play, no goals. And then San Francisco, they're going to have their full 5 starter offensive linemen and CMC. I think 78 the 78 is just a little too low. Give me CMC over 78.5 rushing.
Yeah, I love it. Until they start adjusting the lines, I think you got to continue to hammer CMC. Even the rushing and receiving combined is another good one that he likes to go over. All right, last game on the slate, Sunday Night Football. Taylor Swift will be in the audience. New York Jets hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs laying 8.5 on the road. Actually, it's come down. It opened up at 9. It's come down a little bit. A lot of people jumped on the 9 with the Jets. Don't know why. 8.5, minus 405 on the money line, plus 8.5 for the Jets, plus 320 on the money line. Over under is at 42. I see 41s in out there. So I wish I grabbed the under a little earlier in the week, Elvis. I'll say that the line was at 43.5, 44. I would have taken the under then. 16 of the last 18 games that Zach Wilson has started has gotten under the number. So we see a lot of low-scoring games. I do like the under still. It's at, what did I say, 41.5. I still like the under. Maybe the Jets team total under. But, yeah, no, nothing I really want to play. Do I give us a chance? 5% chance I give us. Being honest, 5%.
No, I respect it.
I feel like the only way we're going to score points is through our defense. I think we need to involve short field. I think we need to involve our tight ends more. Why isn't Jeremy Ruckert in the fucking game? He's all I've heard in the camp was he's good. He's a good running, blocking tight end. And then when you run the ball, you got CJ Uzmanzada on the fucking field. Why? Put the Ohio State kid in. The kid can fucking play. I don't understand that. Why? Another one. Why do they go and trade for Mekhi Hartman when he's had 10 offensive snaps in 3 games? You just gave up Elijah Moore. For who? Elijah Moore's actually on the field. I don't understand some of these decisions. I don't think Robert Saleh can keep sticking up for Zach Wilson. He has to stop coddling him because some of the plays are self-inflicting pain. And some things you can control, some things you can't control. I think we need to run the ball a little more and play old school, pound the rock defense. And then that's going to set up the play action and the short passing game. And when you do pass the ball, short passes, the ball needs to come out quick. If you can't read the defense in 3 to 4 seconds and your second option isn't open, throw the fucking ball out. You can't take a sack on first down. Some of these things you're just watching and it's like, when are you ever going to learn? And then some of these balls he's hitting on a quick out and it's a dime. And it's like, oh, well, that's nice, but you can't do that consistently. So I don't know. I'm not enthused. I don't know why. I know why we're on prime time is because they thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be here, but unfortunate. Lean under. Team total for the Jets under. But yeah, real no confidence. I'm going to watch the game, but hopefully I could go to sleep early. So that's how I'm playing it.
Jill, I just want to give you your respect, Dill, because you give yourself an honest opinion / coverage of this game. And I know that was tough to do. So I want to give you respects there, Dill. Real shit. With that being said, Dill, I'm going to just make it short and sweet, Dill. I agree with the line moving, Dill. I'm not going to lay the 9.5 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't get me wrong, it might be the right side, but I have respect for the Jets defense. It's a pretty good defense. So with that being said, people, let's do a 2-way 6-point teaser. Can we tease down the Kansas City Chiefs to minus 3.5? If it's 8.5 right now, even better to minus 2.5. All you need to do is for them to win by a field goal.
Yeah.
And I think they do it convincingly, Dill. So give me a 2-way 6-point teaser with Philadelphia to minus 2.5 and the Kansas City Chiefs, if it's at 8.5, people down to 2.5. And to me, that's a great play. To Philly down to 2.5 versus the Commanders at home. And then you got the Chiefs down to 3.5, 2.5 on the road versus the Jets.
Yeah, I like that teaser. I actually just put in a teaser right now. 3-way 6-point teaser. I took the Kansas City Chiefs down to 2.5. Cowboys down to 0.5, Eagles down to 2.5. All those key numbers, you got to get them under 3. 3-way teaser plus 140. I like that teaser. So, Elvis, any additional bets? MLB closing down. We're about playoff start on Tuesday. Can't wait for that. We'll have playoff baseball coverage. Basketball starting up. Like we said, we talked about Dame Lillard. College basketball starts in November. Can't wait for that. But anything, WNBA, the finals are almost set. The Aces are in the finals. They swept the Dallas Wings. The Liberty, they have one more game to win against the Phoenix Sun or the Connecticut Sun. But yeah, everything's kind of wrapping up. Any additional plays you got over the weekend? Canelo fights tonight.
Canelo fights tonight, Dale, so we will be tuning in, Dale. Other than that, MLB on the diamond, Dale. The only thing I could say is I like the Red Sox to close out the season just because the Orioles already clinched. They got 100 wins. They got the division. So I see they might just rest their starters still. Give us the Red Sox plus money, plus 110 on the money line today. If Baltimore's sitting players, I don't see why not. They should sit players. Yeah. They're already clinched. They got 100 wins. What more do you need to accomplish in this season? So I like the Red Sox on the road today, though. Yeah, honestly, for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Red Sox did win yesterday, and you kind of saw them take the foot off the gas after they clinched the division. I do want to shout out the Baltimore Orioles. They're America's team this year. They had a 1.3% chance of winning the division coming into the season, and then they go on this run. What did we say in the beginning of the season? The Tampa Bay Rays started, 17-1? We were like, oh, watch out for Tampa Bay Rays, and then Baltimore. They stayed consistent. All the young guys that they drafted are all good. Richardson is a beast. So you got to give credit. I got a little love for the Baltimore Orioles, spending a little time in the DMV area. Beautiful yard in Camden Yards as well. So should be very fun having playoff baseball back in Baltimore. So I do want to give them a little shout out. Very, very fun and accomplished goal for them. But Elvis, that's going to do it for this Saturday edition of the Dream Wager. Want to shout out our sponsor Viva Tequila, myself. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll recap the games. We'll give out our best bet for Monday Night Football. Look at that. 2 New York teams on back-to-back prime time. Who the fuck made this schedule? Follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at The Dream Wager. We go live every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday on YouTube, youtube.com/The Dream Wager. You can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Good luck on your wagers tomorrow. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.